Hi guys, welcome back to the Astrology. Today we are going to be doing the reading for Aquarius rising, ascendant, and you can also watch this as Aquarius moon. And this reading is going to be for the year 2025. I hope that clarifies tons of these comments coming in my comment box. So I thought let's brush it off initially in the call itself. So please watch it both from a rising or moon sign perspective. Now, 2025 is going to be an year of transitions. The much awaited transition of Saturn, which is your Lagna Lord as well, is happening this year after 2.5 years, where Saturn will be moving away from your Multi-Planetary Rashi of Aquarius sign itself. It is currently sitting in your ascendant into the sign of Pisces, followed by which you will have the another big transit of the mighty Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is currently sitting in its sign of Pisces, while Ketu is sitting in the sign of Virgo. And they will be transiting into the sign of Aquarius and Leo, respectively. Then comes the transit of Jupiter. Jupiter is getting Atichari this year. He is in a fast paced, forced motion. And usually, Jupiter likes to stay within a sign around 12 months to 14 months. But this time around, he's transiting from Taurus to the sign of Gemini and later gets into its sign of exaltation in Cancer. And guys, if this was not enough, of course, all the other planets are going to be doing their transits as well, where you will see the transit of Venus in the sign of Pisces into its exaltation for about 110 days. Pretty unusual. Mars have been playing its own games. He's been sitting in retrogression and debilitation in Cancer. It moves back into the sign of Gemini, then becomes direct and progressive in its movement, coming back to Cancer, moving into Leo and Virgo and henceforth. So you see 2025 already is giving charms of this multi. And remember, it is also adding up to a total of number 9. So the numerologists call it the year of Mars. It is going to be an year of action. It is going to be an year of fast-paced motion. So let's see what is entailed for the year 2025 for you guys, my Aquarius friends. At the start of the year itself in January, you will find that Venus is going to be coming into your second house where it gets exalted. Venus is the Lord for your ninth house and for your fourth house coming into second. So it is definitely forming a Dhan Yoga and a Raj Yoga for you folks, which is a great situation. Remember, Venus here is going to be coming in conjunction with Rahu. So it is going to be an extraordinary affair where luck will favor you big time to make humongous gains. You are going to add wealth to your kitty during this year, especially during this transit phase of Venus in its exaltation, which is going to be 110 days of conjunction with Rahu. So you find the support of your superiors, your father, your elderly figures, your bosses at work, who are going to help you with that growth that adds to your savings, meaning many of you can anticipate promotions coming your way, job switches that align to the growth and addition to your wealth. Many of you might pick up new roles which will also be advantageous. Remember, he is also the Lord of your fourth house, moving 11 places away into your second, which translates to you increasing your wealth or utilizing your wealth to add to your savings. So you will be playing the wealth game, the money game this year. My friends Aquarius, I see you utilizing your assets very efficiently. And the gains are not going to be normal. If you are not going to tap on these 110 days, you are going to miss a huge opportunity. So mark my words, you have to utilize your knowledge, your skill set, support of your superiors, and see that how you can channelize all of that to expand your savings. It could also mean that there could be an addition to your family. There could be a growth in your family with new family member coming in your life. It could bring more mental peace, happiness, joy, some auspicious activity, some auspicious occasion, ceremony might take place in your family during this period as well. That is another probability that will come into play. You will not be shying in terms of getting the support and giving the support to your family members. Food consumption will be on the rise, so please check on your weight as well, because that is definitely a possibility coming into play. You might get gluttonous during this period. You would want to enjoy cuisines of different kinds and might be open to take some kind of short or long distance travel as a vacation as well. If you plan a vacation, I can bet You will plan a luxurious vacation for yourself and your family. So that is also written on the cards. But expenses have to be checked because Rahu will have this tendency to expand everything, bloat everything to the next level. Now, both Rahu and Venus will be aspecting your 8th house as well. So please be watchful with respect to your affairs, with your in laws, or any kind of matters that should be kept a secret. You have to be watchful on that front because Venus is giving a debilitated aspect to your 8th house. So some of my friends might also have a risk of having some situations that are not pleasant to the marital aspect of life. If you're not married, great, go ahead and enjoy your life. Now, whilst this transit is happening, Jupiter will be stationed in your 4th house itself, and he is a Parivartan yoga, in an exchange yoga with Venus. So you see how the energies of the 4th and the 2nd are getting combined. This Jupiter is the lord of your 11th house of gains as well as your 2nd house. So gains are definitely going to prop up during this Parivartan yoga period. It is going to be a stupendous period for you to utilize achieving your goals and desires to the fullest. You must work towards them and ensure that you leave no stone unturned to accomplish those objectives. Now, as we move ahead into the month of March, around 29th March, you will see the transit of your Lagna Lord, who's also the Lord of your 12th house, into your 2nd house. So, some way or the other, Lagna Lord will be working towards adding to the wealth as well as eating away some bit of it. Maybe eating away is not the right word to put it. He would be looking forward for you to spend it wisely. And Aquarius, you are pretty wise when it comes to money management, thanks to your loving Lord himself. But Saturn will be tad bit uncomfortable in this stay for a short while until the transit of Rahu happens because he doesn't like the conjunction with Rahu. Now, Saturn here will be aspecting on Jupiter, or let's say on the 4th house itself, which means you might have to be watchful with respect to your mental health or the health of your mother as well. There could be certain sensitive issues that might prop up, but nothing to worry because this aspect of Saturn is in the sign of Taurus. So things are not looking bleak, and Saturn will be sitting in conjunction at least during this time with Venus. Then this Saturn will also be aspecting your 8th house as well as your 11th house. It might try to bring in tendencies to slow things down, but worry not, Jupiter will handle it as soon as it transits. This is also a period where you will have a multi-planetary conjunction happening in your 2nd house in the sign of Pisces. Why? Because along with Saturn, Rahu and Venus, you will also have Sun and Mercury, which will also be transiting and reaching your sign of Pisces or your 2nd house itself. That means money making, family affairs, food, all of it becomes so very relevant, as well as the ownership of Sun and Mercury in terms of their house positions also becomes critical with respect to 2nd house. So you have to map that, keep that in mind, and then work accordingly. Now, as this transit is fructifying, we move towards May when Jupiter is going to be moving into the sign of Gemini and he is going to be transiting into your 5th house. Jupiter's transit to the 5th house is not at all bad. Yes, he is getting into an inimical sign of Mercury, but he is still going to be comfortable there because he is going to be aspecting your 9th house. He is the natural lord of 9th from a Kalpurish perspective. So his aspect to your 9th house, 11th house, which was being slightly dampened by Saturn, is going to be taken care of because now Jupiter is aspecting his own house as well as your Lagna, your ascendant, or your 1st house itself. If you are watching it from a moon sign perspective, do not get worried. It is going to be aspecting your 1st house itself. That means you are going to ooze with confidence. There will be a lot of creativity bubbling in your head, which you will try to utilize for your goal achievement, for your target achievement. And you will not be taking any wrong measures. Jupiter is aspecting the 7th, 9th house as well, which is a good aspect and taken care of from that perspective. Before we talk about Jupiter's next movement, right after 15 days of this transit of Jupiter, the true transit of Rahu and Ketu will take place, with Rahu coming into your Lagna and Ketu coming into your 7th house. Now, this can be a tricky placement because many folks who have had the 1-7 axis have struggled during this transit. Now, Rahu coming into Lagna definitely means that it is going to bring a certain level of illusion, confusion, magnanimity in how you would want to think. You would want to think way too much. At the same time, Ketu's presence into the 7 will add to the wows in terms of your partnerships, even your spousal relationships to a certain extent. And I would want you to be watchful on that front, Aquarius. When Rahu is coming into the first, one thing is for sure, you would want to achieve big goals. You will set big targets for yourself. You will have everything in an expansionist mode. And you might want to be careful in terms of having that check. It is a difficult thing to happen, especially if this Rahu is coming on your moon sign of Aquarius. It is going to be a challenging movement there. But at the same time, if you keep yourself in control, you will realize that you will have a risk-taking appetite never before that you've had. And that is going to be very critical. Then Ketu's presence in the seventh, this is very tricky. Its presence in seventh means you do not have to be suspicious, judgmental, and opinionated towards your partners, towards your spouse, towards your business relationships. You have to have a mindset of openness. Detach yourself with respect to the outcomes of seventh and see how you can operate as neutrally as possible. Because if you are able to master that, this Ketu is in fact going to reward you because he is as your 11th as well as your third. But if you are not, then Ketu's aspect into your Lagna coupled with Rahu's game is going to be very tricky. And I would talk in detail once we do the transit videos for Rahu and Ketu as well. Now, the third important movement will be that of Jupiter, which happens in the month of October, around 18th of October, moving away from June, July, August periods. And once we see that Jupiter is coming into its sign of exaltation in your sixth house, you will find that again, there will be tendencies for you to shine at your workplace, shine at your job. You will be able to materialize any kind of loans that you've been waiting for, any kind of thing. You will take high-end approach, a neutral approach in terms of tackling those problems. This Jupiter is going to be aspecting in the sign of Scorpio to your 10th house, to your 12th house in a debilitated aspect, and to his own sign of Pisces in your second house. This is again going to be a period, folks, where all the goals and targets that you had set in the second transit of Jupiter into Gemini will now start coming into fruition with your own hard work, with the kind of daily regimen that you are following, that discipline that you are bringing in. If you are able to maintain that, you will see you will start shining at your workplace, at your profession, in your karmas. You will get a lot of respect from the people out there in the community. It is also going to be a period where you might have certain challenges, though from an import-export perspective or with respect to any kind of medical situations. But fear not, you will be able to overcome any of those obstacles in your life. Jupiter is going to support you because of its exaltation and the strength it has. But the same Jupiter will help you add to your family wealth. It will help you add towards good moments that you enjoy with your family. Now, of course, we are talking about the transits here. Guys, natal dashas and antardashas have a lot of role to play in terms of how the year can pan out. Transits, I keep on repeating, they have a 15-20% role at max to play in this case. If you though want to analyze that how the natal chart in conjunction with transit is going to impact your 2025 and you want to plan your next 12 months ahead efficiently, then feel free to reach out to me on my email or my Instagram DM and plan a consultation for an hour where we can figure out that how you can strategize for the next 12 months and rule your plans. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, then smash on that like button, subscribe to Dev Astrology and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya.